And I know you talked about your parents kind of being a great support system and outlet for you. Has that been something that you've obviously carried over with you to college? And do you have any other outlets that you go to, whether that's, friends, somebody on campus, a resource kind of available to you, with the team that you go to, whether it's talking to about, just, hey, right, super stressed out, being a student athlete, managing classes, managing my social media, that business side of it. Just need somebody to kind of bounce ideas off to, just de-stress, talk through some stuff. What is that support system and ecosystem like for you?
Yeah, for me personally, friends and family is a very big part. Every single morning I call my dad. We just, shoot the stuff, have conversations about life, track, really whatever. And that really does ground me, my little brother too, my family, my friends. It really does help me. But as for a support system that motivates me to keep going, this is gonna sound crazy, but seriously, when I got hurt that my freshman year, and then I started this YouTube channel, at the beginning I was getting made fun of for it. I was posting on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. My videos were flopping. I was getting like 20, 30 views. Nobody was really caring. And a lot of people were just kind of making fun of me, like, what is this dude doing? He's posting, he's clingy, he's corny. What does he do? Like, what is he doing? Right. And so, like, as I progressed and as I got better as an athlete, more and more people started to notice me. And I started to grow this following on social media. And then to where I'm at today, my 7,000-ish followers throughout all platforms. It's gonna be surprising, but like along the way, like it's actually been that social media group that I've built from zero. That's been my biggest motivation and my support group along the way because I know that not only am I kind of like manipulating myself in a way to become a better track athlete, like I'm teaching things like I'm going over the basics, right? I'm going over form, I'm going over strategy, I'm going over the proper technique on how to be a great runner. Like each and every single day, I'm reminding myself internally, like this is what it takes to be great. And I'm also influencing a bunch of other people too and teaching them new strategy that they've never heard before. I've been coached by some of the best track coaches, in the entire world. And so to gatekeep that knowledge would be a crime. Like I have to give that back to the community. And then, it's crazy what, social media can do. I'm helping kids overseas with training just off of one video, right? And like I'm able to take them with me and show them what it's like to be a D1 athlete. And some of the comments that I get and some of like the emails and the DMs of just all these people like, yo, man, you inspired me. Like I used your strategy from a video and I PR'd, or like I've been doing your training and it's been like really working and things have been just like clicking. Like that to me is so fulfilling and just like, pushes me to keep going because it's one thing talking to family. I'm the only person in my family who's ever gone D1. And so I feel like there's just a tiny bit of a disconnect. Like obviously my parents were the ones who raised me. They're the ones who got me to this position, but then there's only so much that they can do, right? They've never been in my shoes. And even if they were D1 athletes in the past, everybody has their own journey. But when it comes to this, for my support system, man, just like knowing that like other people are getting helped by the things that I'm doing, like that is just so fulfilling. And it's something that's it's always like each and every single day I'm getting comment on comment on comment on comment. And I'm pretty good at blocking out the noise, all the crazy comments out there and things like that. But yeah, I just gotta say, man, my community, everything I built along the way, it's really helped me get through some tough times.
That's awesome. And being able to just stick through it, right? There's so many people who would have said, hey, you know what? I was getting a little, some of this negative feedback at first, and, they hear one or two voices. Next thing you know, they're like, you know what? I'm just going to give up. Whereas, hey, you know what? I see the vision for this. I see the future. And ultimately, you want to give back to these individuals. And now you're receiving all these awesome, awesome messages for people who you're changing their lives, really, which is what you're doing. And you're giving them so many more opportunities to better themselves on the athletic side and just relate to you as a Division 1 athlete. And trust me, I completely get it too on the family side. I was the only one to play, a collegiate sport of any kind. And so too, it's like, hey, your parents are great because they know you in and out better than probably anybody else. But to that point though, like they weren't there. They weren't there at workouts or, talking to the coaches, figuring out on a day-to-day, life, what that's like. But one of the things too that I kind of I guess my mindset really changed from high school to college was my definition of success and how that changed over time. Because at first it was very about myself, right? How can I, put my best foot forward? How can, I have these stats, or how can I get to this college and this potential landing spot? And then over time, when I was in college, it was, well, hey, how can I be the best teammate possible? How can I uplift some of these other guys? How can I help make a positive impact on some of these, younger guys, whether they're freshman, sophomore, and, kind of include them on things that maybe, hey, I wasn't included on when I was, first brought into the school and into the program. But for you, Niko, what was your definition of success like, and how has that really changed for you over time?
Yeah, and at first my definition of success was so time oriented. It was based on once I break two, I'll be a great track athlete. Once I break 150, I'll be a great track athlete. Or same goes for the 400, right? Once I break 48, I'll be a great track athlete. But then once I got older and once I got to college and I realized that there's levels to the game first and foremost when it comes to running times. I mean, there's always going to be somebody faster than you. Whether you're the fastest now and then you get older and somebody becomes faster, or you're faster young, then you get slower. There's always going to be somebody bigger, badder, better, right? And so my definition of success, at least now, has definitely been about the people that you've helped along the way. I think that it's very it'd be very dumb just to base your success based upon like one time, right? One time that you've ever run on the track, or one hit that you've ever done in baseball, right? Like it's every single day you show up as an athlete, you got to put your best foot forward. You got to try to do your very best. But I mean, like the connections you make along the way and the impact that you have on people's lives, your business model, if you're an entrepreneur, right? Your business model behind everything is about mental health and the people that you help. One conversation can change basically an entire person's day or an entire person's life. And for me, it's trying to do my best to have a good, positive attitude towards people, towards anybody, really. I mean, whether it's the person that's taking your Starbucks order or one of your teammates that you haven't had the chance to talk to in a while, like just one little checkup or one little joke or like one whatever can really help them for the better. And so my definition of success is somebody who can really do it all, somebody who is good academically, right? They take care of business, they're not cheating, they're not lying, they're not doing anything dumb. Somebody that's being a leader, somebody that's helping all the people around them succeed, and not just in one aspect and everything, whether that's business, whether that's on that track, whether it's spiritually, whatever, just giving back to those around them. And then three, obviously, is on that track too. I think it is important to be a complete athlete. It's one thing to be a leader and to tell somebody to do better, but I think that you have to lead by example as well, and show other people like listen, like you can do it, you can do this because I've done it too. Like for example, mine was like breaking 150. Like I'm now helping my teammates show them strategies on how to break 150. Like, listen, you got to surge at this point of the race, or you got to control your breathing here, or you got to make a move here, and without doing it myself, who am I to be telling them that? And so that's kind of my three core aspects right there. Is just be a positive influence to those around you, take care of business, don't be a liar, thief, or whatever about that. Just be a good moral person. And three, just taking care of business on that track and showing others what's possible.
Sweet. Yeah. And I think that just being a positive influence too is so big in our day and age. Some people don't want to always do those check ins, ask people how their day's going, right? Even though it's so simple, it's a few words. It's not, hey, we're going out of our way. We're just asking a simple question. Even
Yeah.
giving somebody a quick smile too, right? Hey, they're at the register, and maybe they're looking down, giving them a quick smile, saying thank you with a smile on your face. All those little things add up at the end of the day. But bring it into something a little bit more fun and exciting. Trust me, it's a conversation, a question that I've been waiting to ask within the past few minutes. But within YouTube and content creation in general, number one, I know that we kind of briefly talked about kind of the starting of it, but was there a specific spark that was like, hey, you know what, I saw this from another athlete, another individual, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing something similar to them. But also too, where do you really see your brand going in the future? Are there certain milestones, certain things that you want to um, be able to achieve within the next 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, things like that?
Yeah, so the first athlete that jumps out at me when it comes to starting a YouTube and everything like that was Cass Elliott. He was a senior my sophomore year of college. And so he was over there at Washington. He was like an 800, 400 hurdle hybrid, and he had these awesome YouTube videos, and it's really unfortunate because like he had such a good business model. Like he would have these really cool vlogs, he would break down everything. He had this one thumbnail at the very beginning, like his first ever post, and it was like sub 150 in the 800, and then it was a picture of him laying on the track like puking or dying or something like that. And I clicked on, I'm like, dang, this dude's good. And he ended up getting down to like the 146s indoors, and I was like, dude, this guy's a beast. And it was so cool watching him and like his journey along the way. And I didn't create content for a whole entire like year just because I was like so honed in on watching him. I watched the way he would edit, the way he would do his transitions, the way that he would like interact with his community. And so I kind of just took the time to really be a student and just be patient and wait my turn, basically. And I took the time. I watched, I planned, I envisioned myself being a successful content creator too. And so, once that season was over, I just started posting kind of like a very similar format as to the way he did things. And fortunately for me, I had a lot more success when it came to the numbers. I've had a lot of good people around me. I don't have like a set team, but I have a good amount of resources here at the University of Nebraska when it comes to content creator, editors. I have a really good thumbnail guy who's helping me with all of my content and things like that. And so yeah, it's been a heck of a journey, man. But Cash Elliott, man, big shout out to him. If you guys have the time, go check out his content. This is just on YouTube. He's a really, really good creator. But as for me, my brand and where I plan to go in the future, man, I mean, it took me like a year-ish and a half to get to my 6,000, 7,000 followers, and I'm just now finding out how the TikTok algorithm works, and I'm growing. Starting January 1st, 2025 is actually my goal to create a like little online training course. You know, I got people texting me every single day, like, Niko, I need a training course, I need a weight room program. And like even if I wanted to give it away for free and like try it, like there's over like 30 plus people a day texting me, and there's no possible way, given my busy schedule, that I'm gonna be able to do that without like personalizing it for somebody or whatever. And so I'm doing my best right now. I'm working with another weight room coach. I'm working with other content creators and influencers to find like the best possible way to go about this. But 2025 I think it's going to be a very, very big year for me. Once I hit 10K on all platforms, it's going to start to feel like sky's the limit, from starting at zero to being like known as like the TikTok guy, the YouTube guy. I mean, last season when I had like 1,000 or 2,000, I had people running up on me at track meets all the time, like, yo, can I get a picture? Blah blah blah. And I was like, whoa, like what the heck? Like I'm not a celebrity or anything like that. I'm just a random dude like from Nebraska trying to post some videos, and now it's getting much much bigger. I've been very consistent along the way, and so this track season, I don't know how it's going to be at all. It's probably going to be even twice as crazy, but yeah, for the future, I think social media is the future. Right now I'm getting my marketing degree with a minor in entrepreneurship. I'm very business oriented, just like yourself, Josh, and I have a lot of, big things I plan for the future. And is social media going to be my full-time paying job? I don't know. I have aspirations of becoming pro and going to the Olympics in 2028. And the reason I mentioned my mom being from Puerto Rico is that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. And so I get dual citizenship, since my mother was born there. And so my goal was to represent Puerto Rico actually in those 2028 Olympics to make their team and do that. And so if I were to vlog and film my journey along the way, I feel like that'd be very cool. And if that doesn't work out too, there's always a plan B. I got my marketing degree in my back pocket, work for other companies and do things like that. But that's the goal. If I can, somehow get to a mill one day, if I'm on throughout all platforms, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I love hearing about the success that you've had from the creation of it, being a student of watching other social medias, watching other YouTube videos, and saying, hey, what are they doing right? What do I like that they're doing? How are they engaging? And saying, you know what, how can I bring that to fruition in my own YouTube channel and the videos that I create? And now, obviously, you're reaping the rewards from it. You're that celebrity in the sense when you go out to those track meets, people, hey, take a picture with me, hey, all that type of stuff. Super super cool. And like you mentioned too, I'm super excited to see where that growth is going to be, and just where you go in 2025 and beyond. Because trust me, like everything is right there, and sky's the limit, like you mentioned, right? For everything that you're doing, and especially I'm super excited that you've had so much demand too on the training courses. I think that those are just a great addition as well to those athletes who are looking up to you, kind of being again that positive influence and impact on their day to day lives. And in kind of transition right there too, if there was a quick one or two pieces of brief advice that you have to either give to your younger self or maybe an athlete who's a junior senior in high school looking to be a collegiate track and field athlete, what would that be?
Yeah, best advice would just be stay the course. That was something my dad always preached to me growing up. And one like very specific moment that like helped me was where he told me, he was like, listen, like you got two choices in life, right? Like there's the version of you that, never slacks off. There's a version of you that always chases your goals and tries to be the very best version of himself. And there's the version that didn't do that, that gave into that peer pressure, that didn't try his best, that always doubted himself, that listened to what others had to say about you, right? And so I always stayed on this path right here. And I think that along the way, I've done most things right. Like I've always followed that path. Like that's kind of like something that's always like stuck to me. But yeah, like it's something I still struggle with to this day. Because you mentioned before, about like the internet trolls, right? Like making fun of you. It's not those that would bother me, right? The thing that actually would that got me then and still gets me now is like the people that would be like in your inner circle or the people that you would least expect it from that are like the ones like poking fun at you or like teasing you about your social media grind and things like that. Like it's the people that you actually do care about and they're like into your inner circle, right? Because like it's always like you're getting made fun of along the way, and then once you make it, it's always been like, oh, I've always been your day one supporter. I've always been there. I've always been a fan. I've always like knew that you would make it. But then along the way, it feels like people are just like almost I'm thinking of like a crab bucket, right? When the crab's trying to get out and like everyone's pulling them down. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like in a way. And so there's many times where you got to bite your tongue and just keep on going into the darkness because you don't know when the light's going to be at the end of the tunnel, right? And you're just got to keep on going. And then despite what everybody's saying, whatever somebody thinks about you, emotions change all the time. And so nobody really cares until you make it or you're dead. I think some celebrity said that, some famous person said that, but that's the advice I got, man. Just stay the course. You got it.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect. And I always love wrapping it up on hopefully it brings a fun, memory or two. But I always love talking about just favorite moments with athletes because sometimes people bring it up and it's, hey, there's this accomplishment that I had. Other people are like, hey, you know what? There's a memory that we had of, teammates back at an apartment or back in our dorm and, just because, hey, we were, bonding and just, being guys, right?
Yeah.
But for you, Niko, has there been a favorite, memory or two from, your athletic career, whether it was high school, now into college, that has really kind of just, been ingrained in your mind? Like, hey, I look back to it for, inspiration, or hey, I look back at it as, what, this is just the culmination of collegiate athletics.
Yeah, yeah. As for my collegiate career, favorite moment all time, it's not even close, was that Drake relays this past season. Me and my buddy, we do this thing called the SMR, the Sprint Medley Relay, and it's not a traditional relay. It's rarely run. Put things into perspective, it's a 200, 200, 400, 800. And we threw our two 200 guys in there last minute. Like we just picked two random guys. We picked a jumper and then a 400-meter runner. We're walking up to the line, and the 400 guy looks at the jumper and goes, so do you want to do an open handoff or a closed handoff? And the jumper's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be locked in. They were supposed to practice the handoff at practice that week, but they never coordinated it. And so they decided to wing it. Well, little did you know, they dropped the baton. Luckily, they dropped it within the lane, so we didn't get disqualified. But the dude, when he went to hand it off, completely runs over the other guy because he didn't know which way to form his hand when taking the handoff. So he runs him over, drops the baton. The guy gets up off the track, picks it up, and starts running. We're in dead last by like 20 or 30 meters. And so luckily we have a very good 400-meter runner by the name of Nick Bryant. He's our 600-meter school record holder, and he would consistently give you a 45-second split in the 400. And so he gets the baton in last. He goes from last all the way to like third or fourth place, hands it off to me on the anchor, and I immediately sprint to like the front of the pack. So now I'm like in that 2-3 position going around. And obviously I got 2 laps to go. And so I'm just chilling. I'm super amped up too. I mean, it's a beautiful day. I think it's like 1 p.m. Sun's out, it's great. And I see myself on the big screen too when I'm running. And like I'm just so in the zone. I'm so locked in. And so coming around like 500 to 600 meters, I'm still in third place. And I tell myself, all right, I gotta make a move here, or else I'm gonna be stuck here up until the last straightaway. And so I go from third all the way to first. It was a bold move. I almost tripped. And me and some guy from like DePaul or something are duking it out going into the last 200 meters. In the last 100 meters, me and this kid are side by side now. Like he is not breaking form. And I had to make up some ground to catch him because it was like he had like a cool like 15 to 20 meter lead on me. And so I'm going all out. He's going all out. And going into like the last 10 meters, I'm like, oh dang, I'm not gonna have this. Like this guy might beat me because I had to catch him. And so he had the advantage of distance on me. And so I'm like, screw it. I'm diving head first. And so I take my best 3 step, like whatever I had left in my legs, and I just lunge forward. And luckily I was a football player back in the day, so I knew how to like protect my body. And so I lunge forward and I kind of get like a little tuck. I land on my shoulder and I flip and I look up. I didn't even know if I won. I look up and I immediately just go like this. And then everyone just gets up on their chairs and starts celebrating. And then you see Nebraska wins by like point like 0.02, something dumb. Like I barely won that race. I PR with a split of 146.3, a monster PR by like over a second. And then like the whole stadium is just losing their mind. They're like, what did we just see? Oh my gosh. My teammates are going crazy. Everyone's pushing me. It was by far the absolute best moment I had in my college career, by far.
Dude, that is awesome because it's one of those things in talking with athletes where you bring up a memory like that, and the entire time that they're mentioning the story, it's just a smile ear to ear,
Heck
going and
yeah.
reliving it, talking about it,
You're like,
every
I'm
little
there.
detail too. It's perfect. It's perfect. And that's why I ask it, because it's always fun to hear individuals like yourself relive those moments, bring it up, and hear just about that pride, right? As athletes, we're so prideful of the work that we put into it to have memories and moments like that. And so hearing it firsthand is always super impactful for myself and for the listeners. But again, Niko, thank you so much for your time today. For everybody too who's interested, we're going to link all of Niko's social media handles down below. Go give him a follow, guys. This guy puts out awesome stuff. And like you mentioned from him firsthand, there are a ton of athletes reaching out to him about, these training programs, about, just being a better athlete because of watching his video, hearing from him firsthand how to work on their technique, how to work on their form, how to better themselves as athletes. And this guy is amazing person, an amazing athlete, an amazing student. Leave him a follow on all the social medias that we do include below. But with that being said, Niko, really do appreciate your time again. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more insights to your just athletic journey, even your journey into content creation, and looking forward to seeing where you go in the future.